What millionaires know, and you probably don't, is that money follows an invisible logic. It's not about how much you earn, but how your mind perceives every opportunity, every risk, every financial decision. What if you discovered that a single mental shift could completely change your future? Could the answer lie in how the wealthy think about money, rather than money itself? Something so simple, yet so powerful, that it could be the key to transforming your financial reality. Want to find out? Don't waste a second of this video, and subscribe to the channel to master the secrets that will take you from zero to millionaire. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Most people chase money like it's the finish line. But millionaires, they see it completely differently. To them, money isn't the destination, it's the vehicle that gets them where they want to go. While everyone else is focused on accumulating cash, the wealthy are busy figuring out how to make that cash work harder than they ever could. Think about Warren Buffett for a second. The guy's worth billions, but he still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. That's not because he's cheap, it's because he understands that money sitting pretty in a mansion isn't creating more wealth. Instead, he takes every dollar and puts it to work through smart investments, turning money into a tool that builds even more money. Rich people don't hoard wealth, they deploy it strategically. This shift in thinking changes everything about how you handle your finances. When you stop seeing money as something to collect and start viewing it as something to utilize, you begin making different choices. You'll invest in that online course instead of buying another gadget. You'll put money into dividend-paying stocks rather than letting it sit in a low-interest savings account. Every dollar becomes a worker in your financial empire, not just a number in your bank account. But here's where it gets really interesting, and why most people struggle with this concept. While most folks are desperately clinging to their comfort zones, millionaires are out there hunting for opportunities that make others nervous. They've figured out something crucial. Security is often just an illusion that keeps you stuck in the same financial bracket forever. Sure, that steady 9 to 5 feels safe, but it's also predictable, and predictable rarely leads to wealth. The rich understand that calculated risks aren't gambling, they're strategic moves toward financial freedom. Take Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx with just $5,000 and a crazy idea about footless pantyhose. Everyone thought she was nuts for quitting her sales job to chase this risky venture. But while others were playing it safe, she was building a billion-dollar empire. She didn't see risk, she saw an opportunity that nobody else was willing to pursue. That's the difference between wealthy thinking and average thinking right there. Here's what's fascinating, though. Millionaires don't just jump blindly into risky situations. They do their homework, they calculate the odds, and they always have a backup plan. They might invest in a startup, but they'll research the market first. They'll buy real estate, but only after analyzing the neighborhood trends and rental potential. It's not about being reckless, it's about being strategic while everyone else is being overly cautious. The crazy part is what most people consider playing it safe is actually the riskiest move of all. Here's where millionaires really separate themselves from the pack. They're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Most people want instant gratification, quick wins, and immediate payoffs. But real wealth takes time to compound, and the rich have mastered the art of delayed gratification. They'll sacrifice today's small pleasures for tomorrow's massive rewards, understanding that patience isn't just a virtue, it's a wealth-building strategy. Jeff Bezos is the perfect example of this mindset in action. For years, Amazon barely made any profit because Bezos kept reinvesting everything back into the company. Shareholders were frustrated, critics called him crazy, and competitors thought he was running his business into the ground. But Bezos had a 20-year vision when everyone else was thinking in quarters. While others were chasing quick profits, he was building an empire that would eventually dominate e-commerce and cloud computing. This long-term thinking shows up in everything wealthy people do. They'll invest in index funds that compound over decades rather than chase hot stock tips. They'll spend money on education and skills that pay off years later instead of buying stuff that loses value immediately. Rich individuals understand that building wealth is like planting an oak tree. You won't see the full benefits for years, but when you do, it'll be worth the wait. But there's something even more powerful than just thinking long-term. While most people spend money on things that depreciate, millionaires invest in something that only gets more valuable over time: knowledge. They understand that skills and education are the only assets that can't be taken away from you. A recession might crash your stock portfolio, but it can't erase what you've learned about business, investing, or leadership. Rich people treat their minds like their most important investment account, constantly adding new deposits of wisdom and expertise. Warren Buffett, despite being one of the wealthiest people alive, still spends 80% of his day reading. He devours annual reports, business magazines, and books about industries he's never invested in before. Bill Gates takes 2 think weeks every year where he disconnects from everything just to read and learn. These aren't accidents, they're strategic investments in intellectual capital that compound faster than money ever could. Here's what's really smart about this approach: knowledge doesn't just make you money, it protects the money you already have. When you understand financial markets, you're less likely to panic during downturns. When you know about real estate, you can spot good deals others miss. When you grasp technology trends, you can invest in the next big thing before it explodes. Every book you read, every course you take, and every mentor you learn from becomes a multiplier for your wealth-building potential. And speaking of multipliers, there's one concept that separates the wealthy from everyone else. Here's the secret sauce that most people never figure out: millionaires don't get rich by trading their time for money. They get rich by making their money work around the clock, even while they sleep. While everyone else is stuck in the work harder mentality, wealthy individuals have mastered the art of leverage and passive income. They understand that there are only 24 hours in a day, but money never gets tired, never takes a vacation, and never calls in sick. Think about how Robert Kiyosaki explains it in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Poor people work for money, but rich people make money work for them. A millionaire might own rental properties that generate $10,000 a month in passive income. They might have dividend stocks that pay them quarterly without lifting a finger. Or they could have created an online course that sells automatically while they're traveling the world. Each of these income streams works independently of their personal time and effort. The brilliant thing about leverage is that it comes in many forms. You can leverage other people's time by building a team. You can leverage other people's money through smart debt and investments. You can leverage technology to automate processes and scale your business. Rich folks understand that the moment you stop personally doing everything is the moment your wealth can truly explode. They build systems that generate money, whether they're working or not. But here's what's even more interesting: the way wealthy people think about money itself is completely backwards from what most believe. Most people walk through life believing there's not enough to go around, not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough success for everyone. They operate from a completely different reality. They believe in abundance, understanding that wealth isn't a pie where someone else's slice makes yours smaller. Rich individuals know that money is limitless, opportunities are everywhere, and success breeds more success. This single shift in perspective changes everything about how they approach business, relationships, and life itself. Oprah Winfrey embodies this abundance mindset perfectly. Instead of hoarding her success, she spent decades lifting others up, creating opportunities for countless people through her shows, network, and philanthropy. She understands that when you help others win, you don't lose, you multiply. Her wealth didn't shrink when she made other people wealthy, it exploded. That's because abundance thinkers know that collaboration beats competition every single time. Here's where it gets really powerful: when you truly believe there's enough for everyone, you start acting differently. You're not threatened by other people's success, you're inspired by it. You don't hoard information, you share it freely knowing it'll come back to you multiplied. You celebrate wins instead of feeling jealous, and you look for ways to create value for others rather than just taking. Rich people understand that scarcity thinking keeps you small, while abundance thinking opens doors you never knew existed. And those doors often lead to the most important wealth-building factor of all. Here's something most people get completely wrong: they think wealth is a solo journey, but millionaires know it's actually a team sport. Rich individuals are incredibly strategic about who they spend time with, because they understand that you become the average of the 5 people you hang around most. While others are complaining about money problems with broke friends, wealthy people are having dinner conversations about investment strategies and business opportunities. They don't just network, they carefully curate their circle to include people who challenge them, inspire them, and open doors they couldn't reach alone. Look at how the most successful entrepreneurs operate. They're constantly joining mastermind groups, attending high-level conferences, and building relationships with other winners. Elon Musk doesn't hang out with people who tell him his ideas are impossible. He surrounds himself with brilliant engineers and visionaries who help him turn crazy concepts into reality. Rich people understand that your network literally becomes your net worth, so they invest heavily in relationships that push them toward greater success. This isn't about using people or being fake, it's about mutual elevation. When wealthy individuals connect with other high achievers, magic happens. They share opportunities, collaborate on deals, and learn from each other's mistakes. One conversation with the right person can change your entire trajectory. That's why millionaires are always saying yes to coffee meetings with interesting people and no to hanging out with those who drain their energy or limit their thinking. But even with the best network in the world, challenges will still come, and how you handle them reveals everything. While most people run from failure like it's some kind of disease, millionaires embrace it like an old friend who brings valuable gifts. They don't see setbacks as proof they're not cut out for success. They see them as expensive education that brings them closer to their breakthrough. Rich individuals understand that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone toward it. Every mistake becomes data, every loss becomes a lesson, and every closed door points them toward the right one. James Dyson is the perfect example of this mindset in action. He created 5,126 failed prototypes before his revolutionary vacuum cleaner design finally worked. Most people would have quit after the 10th failure, maybe the 100th if they were really persistent. But Dyson understood that each failure was actually feedback, valuable information about what didn't work, bringing him one step closer to what would. Today, his net worth is over $5 billion, all because he refused to let failure mean anything other than try again differently. Here's what separates wealthy thinking from average thinking. When something doesn't go as planned, millionaires immediately ask themselves, "What can I learn from this?" instead of "Why me?" They analyze what went wrong without getting emotional about it. They adjust their strategy, pivot when necessary, and keep moving forward with even more wisdom than before. Rich people know that the fastest way to success is to fail fast, fail cheap, and fail forward. The thing is, all this strategic thinking and resilience means nothing if you're not focusing on the right activities. Here's where millionaires really blow people's minds. They don't manage time, they manage priorities. While everyone else is busy being busy, wealthy individuals are laser-focused on high-impact activities that actually move the needle. They understand that all tasks are not created equal, and spending an hour on the right thing can be worth more than spending a week on the wrong things. Rich people are ruthless about protecting their time because they know it's their most valuable, non-renewable resource. Take Tim Cook, Apple's CEO. He wakes up at 3:45 a.m. not because he's a masochist, but because those early morning hours are when he can focus on strategic thinking without interruptions. He's not answering emails or attending meetings. He's working on the decisions that will impact billions of dollars and millions of lives. Meanwhile, most people spend their peak energy hours scrolling social media or handling low-priority tasks. Millionaires flip this script entirely. They tackle their most important work when their minds are sharpest. The wealthy have also mastered the art of saying no. They understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that could change their life. Rich individuals will hire assistants to handle routine tasks, delegate everything that doesn't require their unique skills, and eliminate activities that don't align with their bigger goals. They're not trying to do everything, they're trying to do the right things exceptionally well. But here's something that might surprise you about how successful people actually multiply their impact. This might sound counterintuitive, but millionaires understand something that breaks most people's brains. The more you give away, the more you receive. While others hoard every penny out of fear, wealthy individuals are incredibly generous because they've discovered that giving creates a multiplier effect in their lives. They don't just donate money when they have enough. They give strategically from the beginning, knowing that generosity opens doors, builds relationships, and creates opportunities that money alone never could. Look at how Bill and Melinda Gates approach philanthropy. They've given away over $50 billion through their foundation, yet Bill's net worth has continued to grow. That's not a coincidence, it's the abundance principle in action. When you solve problems for others, create value in the world, and genuinely help people succeed, wealth flows back to you in ways you never expected. Rich people understand that money is like water, it needs to flow to stay fresh and continue growing. Here's the beautiful thing about this mindset: giving doesn't have to mean writing big checks. Millionaires give their time, expertise, and connections freely. They mentor others, share opportunities, and create value wherever they go. Warren Buffett spends hours answering questions from young investors, not because he has to, but because he knows that lifting others up ultimately lifts him up too. Wealthy individuals have learned that in a connected world, your success is tied to everyone else's success. The crazy part is, when you combine all these mindset shifts together, something magical happens to your relationship with money. So here's the million-dollar question, literally. After everything we've just explored, what's stopping you from thinking like a millionaire starting right now? You've just been handed the exact mental blueprints that separate the wealthy from everyone else. You know how they view money, risk, time, failure, and success. The information is sitting right there in your mind, waiting to be applied. But here's what separates the people who change their lives from those who just consume content: action. Are you going to close this video and go back to your old patterns? Or are you finally ready to rewire how your brain processes every financial decision? Which mindset spoke to you the most? Was it the abundance thinking that could transform how you see opportunities? The long-term vision that could make you patient with your investments? Or maybe the idea of leveraging your money instead of just working harder? Think about this: if you implemented just 3 of these millionaire mindsets over the next year, how different would your financial reality look? What would happen if you started viewing money as a tool instead of a goal? What if you began investing in knowledge like your life depended on it? What if you surrounded yourself with people who challenged your thinking instead of validating your limitations? The wealthy aren't lucky, they're strategic. They don't have secret information, they have different thinking patterns. And now you have those patterns too. The only question left is, what are you going to do with them? If you're serious about transforming your relationship with money and building real wealth, then subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. We're just getting started on this journey from zero to millionaire, and every video contains strategies that could literally change your financial future. Don't let this be just another video you watched. Let it be the moment everything shifted for you.